Hey, we're in the building. What it better not. What did you, everybody? This is your host, Brandy J, right here on Quick Topic Network on Spreaker Radio live. And let me tell you where I am. It's hot than a mug, guys. So please feel free. Let us know. Message us. Let us know what part of the world you're on, what state, what city, what is your weather like? Because I'm telling you firsthand, this is not normal. You dig a little deeper, not within the mainstream, because you won't find it there. You will see Pakistan underwater. What else was it? Kentucky flooded. So many places. Africa, China. Hello. Let's wake up, people. But if you're waiting around for your daily edition of the news to serve you up some news, then you're sadly mistaken. And the sad part is, you should know better. You should know better. But sometimes you gotta seek, you gotta talk to people. You can't just sit around thinking that you're gonna get information that is useful. People are in need of help. It's just wild. At some point, we got to start to realize, when are we going to help ourselves? Right? So let's get into some topics and some things that are going on that people are talking about. That's the buzz, the info. I'll start off right here. There's this new little platform. I'll say the name when I darn get ready to say it. But there was a video on there of a man that was locked in a store that was trying to rob the store. He got locked in because they took immediate action. It could have went left real quick, but it didn't. It just worked out in their favor. But the point is, someone in the comments made a joke, saying something about being black. And then he's like, who was surprised that this was a black person? Something to the sort. And then he said, not me. So I said, sir. And I put no. But something to the extent I was going, like, no. And then I said, because people are always trying to highlight, why do we have to do that in general? It's quite ignorant. And I just kind of said, why do we need to do this? And then I just gave him a history lesson. Just kind of reminded him, like, if you're trying to make it seem like we're just these wild people and stuff, and you guys never take accountability for stuff, you don't like that, do you? So then he comes back and types my thing in, my username, and says, it was quite something that you would call me racist, and yada, yada, yada. And then, matter of fact, some of my greatest heroes are black. And then went on to say something about the statistics of the statistics, and that he'll start, that type of thinking will be different once the numbers change. First of all, numbers are trash, because who's creating these numbers? We have seen a lot of times where statistics weren't matching actual records and stuff like that. I don't go by that, because anybody can manipulate anything. And then first most is inhumane. Color doesn't equal if you're a criminal or not. But when I give you these history reminders, you got an excuse for it. So let's just knock it off. And like, he had a whole different type of theory about what I said. And then when I went back, I'm a nice, humble person, so I apologized. I said, well, if I gave you the impression I thought you were racist, I apologize. But then when I went back and I read my text, I said nothing of the sort. I said, basically, I brought up some history. Let's not forget. And then he said for me to assume that he's a racist. I was like, yo, I'm not even tripping. Because it just shows that I'm humble and able to. If I did, then I apologize, but I never even did. So that's the crazy part. I was like, oh, I should have read my shit first before I answered it. Like, oh, you good, you got me, sir. Yeah, I got it. You're trying to play the victim. I know, we see this. It happens often. But yeah, so my response still was, after I said, if I did come off like you're racist, which I didn't, because I didn't read mine yet. Because if I did, yeah. Because I don't just blatantly come out and call people that. I'll just point out the obvious, and if it highlights that within you, which probably did, because at the end of the day, why did he feel fit to make that comment? It was like a joke, like a pun, right? But check this out, too. Don't we do it to each other? He probably like, well, Dave Chappelle does it all the time. Well, you're not Dave, and after my comment and then your comment afterwards, you weren't being funny. Because he went on to show statistics of him being a senior citizen and moving into leaving California, going to a different area where there's only 700 African Americans and it seems to be a lot more peaceful. What was your point, sir? No, that kind of thinking keeps going because you keep buying into it. When are we not going to let humans be humans? Because then you get an ugly stir pot of bullcrap, and then you get people saying stuff like, what about school shootings? What if I said, I bet you weren't surprised what color that was, right? And then it'll be a whole tit for tat. And what good does that do? Why people sit with their lives lost. So I stick back to what I said before. Color does not equal criminal. That's ignorance. You gotta be a dummy to think that even matters. You can't, I bet you did this race. We feed into that shit. The only way you can do better is to be better and to know better. And when you make those type of jokes, people are going to feel away. Now, before we get to the end here, I'm going to bring something up. And it's something to think about. Because everybody keeps co-signing this shit too, calling it some kind of freaking art. But is it though? And don't get me wrong, because I think they're funny too. But it doesn't take away from the point I'm going to make. Okay? You gotta still be able to use your brain. Thank you. All right, so that gives us our little reminder here that we're coming down to the last. It is quick news network here, so we get it quick. Carrying right along. So as far as when it comes down to our nifty supply of water, I'm just a little disturbed about the countless and ongoing water, pollution, and what are people to do for water if they can't. I think it's in Mississippi, they don't even have any drinkable water. Isn't that an emergency? Shouldn't somebody be there, like on a helicopter? How come all these people are experiencing this and there's no one going to help? Well, where's that at? Now, when I ask this question, I'm asking you as the people. I'm asking y'all. I'm not asking the government. I'm not asking the corporate. Anybody. I'm asking you as people, where is the help? Because people have a good tendency to look everywhere else but where they should be looking. But we also probably should be looking towards each other too. But, But I do want to give my prayers and everything, because this isn't cool. And a lot of people, they just sit back and they feel unbothered. And it really kind of ticks me off because it shows that lack of empathy. Like you sit back like you have no care and concern. People making jokes, saying it sounds like a personal problem. Or the people that are dealing with extreme heat in some places with no electricity, and they're trying to find coolant somewhere on rivers and all that stuff. And then you have some people that are just privileged, Americanized people, all races, just sitting at home saying, well, they get used to it. While you sit there on your hiney ass, unempathetic ass, and make these comments while these people are experiencing this, like this shit can't and won't happen to you. And when it does, you'll be the first one crying. So please, my darling, shut the hell up. You're welcome. I do mean it, because it's so inhumane to make those comments about you got online, took your sorry fingers to type in some unempathetic, unkind things. You should be questioning yourselves. Like you could have kept that to yourself. But you had that much time to leave a loser comment when you shouldn't have said anything, because if somebody, that's those people's lives right now that they're going through it. I don't care what you have to say. If it's not nice, like my grandma used to say, don't say nothing at all. It's not nice. And it really makes me mad even more so because these very sorry ass people, soon as the shit hits the fan and it gets a little trying for them, they'll be the first ones hooting, well, and hollering. Watch how you treat people, because karma is a what? Oh yes, you're gonna have to eat those words, as you should. It's unkind, and it can happen to you. No matter what I come across, you just see people say the dumbest stuff. There's this lady, and it's raining crazy, right? We don't know her situation, but she's asking the store owner, please let me out. As soon as she gets out, the water is getting kind of hectic out there. But the first thing people can think of to say, what is your dumb ass doing out there? Go back in there. You have nowhere to go. First of all, if you didn't listen, this lady is a mother. She's trying to get home to her children. That being said, if you're a parent, that stuff is not going to, you're still going to try to get home to your kids. You should have let her out sooner. But the simple fact that they were making remarks instead of saying anything else that was useful, it was kind of just like, get your stupid ass. And I was like, you're going to be the same people that find yourself in a messed up situation, crying and stuff. Wonder why? Because an asshole. Lesson learned. What goes around comes around. All that in the above. Treat people how you want to be treated. I'm like, you can't make this type of stuff up. Just get offline forever. You're useless online. You say stuff like this and you actually typed it in. That concerns me that you had that much time to be in somebody else's page to put that. So we could probably read between the lines. We probably don't need your therapist for this one to see what kind of person you probably really are. Because it takes a lot. I could never. Would that be the same for me? Like, you don't know what these people know. No. But I know what they said. And none of it was necessary. Calling her stupid. And then you look stupid because I was a mother trying so hard to get to her children. So know what you're talking about before you talk about it. Like I said, you have nothing nice to say. There's so many other things that people can be saying when you see some messed up stuff, but they won't say anything. So please, miss me. You condone some things that are just disgusting and really suspect. But then other things, what are you doing in there, you dumbass? No, you're the dumbass because you actually put that comment. Dumbass. You're welcome. We're going to get ready to wind it down here, but what I was saying, referring to earlier that I was going to bring up was, alright, so, we got this whole thing called comedy, right? We got our Chappelles, our goats like Chappelles and Cat Williams. And you got others like Kevin and, other just comedians, right? Now, comedy, for the most part, it's funny, right? And then we started kind of looking at it in a different way after Will, yeah, that's true, Will, Chris Rock. And then after, the whole Chappelle thing with the transgender, started looking at it differently, right? And then we're like, why are people getting so sensitive? It's just jokes, and this is the comedy world, and yada, 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 and whatever anybody had to say about it. And then, I always look at it from the youth perspective, what kind of examples we set. And then, these days, these kids have this saying, it's just dark humor or satire, and that's how we are able to cover up something that probably isn't funny. But I always say, who's at the other end of this funny shit? Because if you really think about it, we as human beings have made it okay for us to take people's trauma or things in their life that's happened that they're sensitive about and turn it into a whole genre and profession, and then get mad at people when they get mad about it. Just something to think about. So who's really wrong? And then, you get people to you're roasting people and stuff. What are we really pushing here? Because there's really one thing, the whole comedy thing, and then there's this roasting thing that I think is whack as heck. Your mama man, nothing else better to do? Shit, the world is in an uproar. We can't get along. People are still living in this racist world, living in, you can't, judging people because of their sexuality, all this stuff. So I think we really don't need to be, I'm just saying, put it out there, right? What do you guys feel? This is going to be a poll. It is going to be a question. It will be spoken of because we need to understand and we need to know. Now, granted, I think Dave Chappelle's funny as heck. But on the flip side of it, still, and it's not even about him. Not about Chris Rock. It's about human beings and this whole comedy, is there an issue there? Is there something to talk about there? What is the solution for real? Don't tell them just stop being so sensitive. Can't say cancel shit. So what is the answer? You tell me what you think. And until next time, guys, thanks for joining your girl, Brandy J. I hope I wasn't talking into the speaker too much, or the microphone. If I was, I'm so sorry. Until next time, you guys have a blessed day, and peace.